From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Kirsten Hillman is reflecting on her role as Canada's ambassador to the United States as she prepares for the next steps in her life.
Kirsten Hillman thinks about what the title of her autobiography might be.
Maybe diplomacy is a contact sport, right? Maybe something like that.
One glance at her CV tells you why. She was the underdog staring down center ice during the first Trump administration when NAFTA's future was in peril. And she's been the goalie deflecting shots as U.S. President Donald Trump calls for Canada's annexation and addresses the Prime Minister as governor. Hillman will be leaving the post later this month after more than 8 years in Washington, nearly 6 as Canada's top diplomat. She says there will always be distractions and diversions, but it's critical for an ambassador to keep their eye on the ball. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, Washington.
The New York Times is reporting that China's top court is overturning the death sentence for a Canadian man.
The newspaper says the death sentence ordered for BC native Robert Lloyd Schellenberg after he was convicted on drug smuggling charges in 2019 has been overturned by the Supreme People's Court. Clemence Grivet, a spokesperson for Global Affairs Canada, told the Canadian Press the department is aware of the decision that was issued by the court in Schellenberg's case, and the department will continue to provide consular services to Mr. Schellenberg and his family. She says Canada has advocated for clemency in this case, as it does for all Canadians who are sentenced to death abroad. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
A heads up for anyone who attended Manitoba Ag Days in Brandon last month. Public health officials are advising that you should monitor for measles symptoms. Billed as Canada's largest indoor farm show, the event was held this year from January 20th to the 22nd. Now, the warning applies to anyone who was at the Brandon Keystone Center for the show or anyone who may have visited nearby hotels, restaurants, and shops. Other possible exposures may have happened on the days leading up to the show and the days after it. Oh boy, put on that extra puffy parka if you live in Ontario. Environment Canada says the province can expect to see prolonged periods of extreme cold this weekend, where it can feel like minus 30 with a wind chill. Now, the bone-chilling cold, which hit Toronto Friday night, will continue this morning and is predicted to return later tonight into Sunday morning before letting up slightly on Monday. The weather agency also says the region could see powerful wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour. And finally, a racist video posted to Donald Trump's social media page has been deleted. That is after significant backlash. Reporter Chuck Severson says the animation depicted former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle as apes.
Mr. Trump on Air Force One Friday night said he made no mistake and wouldn't apologize.
I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part.
Senate's only black Republican, South Carolina's Tim Scott, called the video the most racist thing he's seen out of this White House.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, 6 games in the NBA to tell you about. Jaylen Brown had 29 points and 7 rebounds as the Boston Celtics edged the visiting Miami Heat 98-96. Canadian Andrew Wiggins had 26 points and 6 rebounds for the Heat. The Eastern Conference leading Detroit Pistons slam dunked the visiting New York Knicks 118-80. New York had its 8-game win streak halted. Elsewhere, the Bucks topped the Pacers 105-99. The Pelicans outlasted the Timberwolves 119-115. And finally, in the late games, the Clippers beat the Kings 114-111, and the Trailblazers got past the Grizzlies 135-115. Looking ahead, the Toronto Raptors will host the Indiana Pacers Sunday for a mid-afternoon tilt. And a blast from the past. Former slugger Mark McGuire is back with his first organization, rejoining the Athletics as a special assistant to player development. He played at least parts of 12 seasons for the then Oakland Athletics and was a 9-time All-Star. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.